Caitlin Clark just walked into her first run with Team USA and somehow shattered 14 records in the span of a single week at the FIBA World Cup qualifiers in Puerto Rico. And unbelievably, that's not even the craziest part of this entire situation, because while Clark was out there quietly rewriting history, Angel Reese was online spiraling, putting on what many are calling a full-blown public meltdown. And when you hear what Reese believes she deserved after a rough showing, yeah, it's going to raise some eyebrows. We've got the stats, the receipts, and the reactions, and trust me, some of this is wild. But let me ask you this: do you think Angel Reese deserves a spot on Team USA? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now here's where things get serious. Most athletes spend years, sometimes their entire careers, just hoping to break a single record on the international stage. Caitlin Clark, she erased 14 of them in 1 week, and the craziest part, she wasn't even starting. This all went down during the FIBA World Cup qualifying tournament in Puerto Rico, 5 games in 7 days. Team USA dominated from start to finish, but all eyes quickly shifted to a 24-year-old making her senior national team debut. Not a junior squad, not a college showcase. This was the main stage, her first appearance with the full national team. And here's the detail that makes it even more unbelievable. Clark hadn't played a competitive game in 239 days leading up to this. No rhythm, no recent reps, straight into elite international competition. Now picture this: in the opening game, head coach Kara Lawson rolls with Chelsea Gray as the starting point guard, but almost immediately, things start to fall apart. The opposing defense comes out aggressive, trapping hard, disrupting the offense within seconds. So Clark checks in, and instead of struggling against that same pressure, she flips it completely. She reads the defense instantly, speeds up the tempo, and starts picking it apart like she's been running this system for years. Passes start flying. Teammates are getting easy looks. The entire game shifts. By the time it's over, Clark puts up 17 points, 12 assists, and 0 turnovers in just 19 minutes. She goes 4 for 5 from deep, perfect from the free throw line. Team USA wins in a blowout, 110-46. And afterward, Clark shrugs it off, saying she felt excited, not nervous, not overwhelmed, just ready after 8 months away from real competition. Now let's talk about what that performance actually meant. Those 12 assists, that's the highest total ever recorded by any player making their senior national team debut across any country, not just Team USA ever. On top of that, she recorded the fastest double-double in Team USA debut history, and she became the only player, male or female, any country, to post a double-double in their very first senior national team game. All of that off the bench in under 20 minutes. And it didn't stop there. Zoom out to the full tournament and it gets even more ridiculous. Clark finished with 32 total assists across 5 games, leading Team USA in every single game she played. She averaged 11.6 points and 6.4 assists per game, all while playing limited minutes. And her plus-minus, plus 109. That wasn't just the best on Team USA, that was the top mark out of every player in the entire tournament. Let that sink in. She wasn't even the primary option. She wasn't logging heavy starter minutes. And still, nobody in the field had a bigger impact when she was on the court. That's not just impressive, that's dominance. She was dissecting defenses in real time, speeding up the game, and getting players like Paige Buckers and Aaliyah Edwards flowing before opponents could even get set. Everything started clicking instantly. Then Phoenix Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts stepped in, made a key adjustment, and inserted Clark into the starting lineup, shifting the entire system toward a fast-paced, guard-driven, space-heavy offense built around her strengths. The result, total domination Team USA's next matchup against New Zealand turned into a 101-46 blowout, a 55-point statement even more impressive. Clark logged the most minutes on the team that game with 23, all while dealing with the flu, and she still delivered the top efficiency rating on the roster, finishing with an 18, stuffing the stat sheet across points, assists, rebounds, and steals. After the game, Tibbetts didn't dodge the truth either. He openly admitted that not starting Clark earlier was a mistake. Think about that for a second, a coach publicly acknowledging they got it wrong. That almost never happens. By the end of the tournament, the resume was ridiculous. 14 records shattered. Tournament MVP, the youngest player ever to win that award at this event, and the first MVP in history to earn it while spending most of the tournament coming off the bench. And Clark's reaction: no celebration tour, no slowdown. She came right back the next game and kept dominating. Because while the FIBA MVP is a big deal, the bigger picture is even crazier. Sportico named Caitlin Clark the most influential female athlete of 2025, and when you actually break down her off-court portfolio, it's not even close. Start with Nike. Clark doesn't just have a deal, she has the biggest Nike contract ever given to a WNBA player. Not rookie, not active, ever. And it's not structured like a typical endorsement either. We're talking signature shoe line, revenue sharing, the kind of elite setup usually reserved for names like LeBron James or even Michael Jordan. That's the level she's operating on at just 24 years old. Then there's Wilson. Clark has her own signature line with the brand, making her the first athlete since Michael Jordan to receive that kind of treatment. Let that sink in. The last time Wilson built something like this around a player, it was Jordan. Now it's Caitlin Clark. Next up, State Farm. She became the first female athlete in the company's history to be the main face of their campaigns, not just included, leading it. A brand that traditionally centered its biggest stars around the NFL and NBA just handed that spotlight to her, and then came Gatorade with a deal described as record-breaking for a female athlete. So now you've got Nike, Wilson, State Farm, and Gatorade all tied to one player. At that point, it's not just endorsements anymore. That's a corporate empire, and it doesn't stop there. Clark has already stepped into the luxury space, partnering with Prada, one of the most recognizable high-fashion brands in the world. Very few athletes ever cross into that lane this early, and the ones who do, they tend to stay there. Now let's talk numbers. In her rookie season alone, Clark generated an estimated $8.1 million in endorsements. Her WNBA salary, around $70,000. That means she made over 100 times more off the court than on it. To put that in perspective, most veteran players in the league don't touch what she earned from endorsements in year one, just from Nike alone. Forbes ranked her among the most powerful women in all of sports, not just basketball, all sports, at 24. And when Sportico built their ranking for the most influential female athlete, they weren't just counting followers or search trends. They looked at real impact, cultural influence, business reach, and the ability to move entire markets. Clark checks every box. Her rookie season drove record attendance across the WNBA. TV ratings surged whenever she played. Networks that had barely invested in women's basketball suddenly started paying serious money because she was changing the numbers overnight. She didn't just enter the league, she transformed the business around it. Sponsors flooded in, broadcast deals grew, arenas sold out, and all of that happened in year one, before she even touched her second season. Because here's the reality. Her performance on the court and her impact off it aren't separate stories. They fuel each other. She dominates in games, and the business grows. The business grows, and the spotlight gets even bigger. And heading into the 2026 season with the Indiana Fever, both sides are still climbing, with no clear ceiling. But here's what makes it even more interesting. Before Puerto Rico, before the FIBA MVP, before being labeled the most influential female athlete alive, Clark had already spent her first 2 WNBA seasons doing something no one had ever done. And at the exact same time, Angel Reese was making headlines for very different reasons. Because Clark's rookie season, it wasn't just good, it was historic. 62 records in a single year. We're talking scoring milestones, assist records, three-point history, and even TV viewership numbers, all tied directly to games Caitlin Clark played in. 62. It almost sounds unreal until you actually break it down piece by piece and realize it all happened. And let's be clear about what that number really represents. That's not a hot streak. That's not a few standout nights. That's an entire season of consistently doing things no rookie had ever done before, across multiple categories, against every type of defense the league threw at her, game after game. She didn't just have a great rookie year, she completely redefined what a rookie season could even look like. Now, while Clark was putting together one of the most historic debuts the league has ever seen, Angel Reese was making headlines in her own way. Yes, she led the league in rebounds as a rookie, and on paper, that sounds impressive. But once you look closer, the conversation gets a lot more complicated, because analysts spent the entire season pointing out a key detail. Many of those rebounds came off her own missed shots. She'd take the shot, miss it, grab the rebound, and it still counts on the stat sheet. So in a lot of cases, she was essentially boosting her numbers by recovering her own misses. And this wasn't just a random observation. It was tracked, discussed, and backed up by the data all season long, so now you've got two completely different pictures forming. On one side, Clark, 62 records, reshaping Indiana's entire offensive system, driving record-breaking attendance, and pulling in massive TV ratings. On the other side, Reese putting up numbers that sparked constant debate about how much of that production was actually impactful. That's a comparison her supporters would rather avoid, and heading into year 2, that gap didn't shrink, it widened. Clark kept stacking achievements, more assists, more efficient scoring, more proof that she's operating at a level we've rarely seen from a guard, maybe ever. And the Fever? They're building something real around her. Look at the roster. Aaliyah Boston dominates inside. Kelsey Mitchell is a pure scorer. Lexi Hull does all the gritty work that doesn't show up in highlights. Sophie Cunningham brings energy, toughness, and shooting every single night. Now plug Clark into the center of that. Her vision, her pace, her ability to find the right player at the perfect moment before defenses can even react. Suddenly, the 2026 Fever don't just look good, they look dangerous. Because here's what that FIBA tournament really confirmed. Clark stepped into a completely new environment, new teammates, limited practice time, and a system that wasn't even designed around her. And within days, she was breaking records again, 14 of them. That's not luck, that's a pattern. It's exactly what she did in her WNBA rookie season, just condensed into a single week. New setting, same outcome. Those 62 records weren't hype. They were a preview of what was coming, and the distance between Clark and Reese hasn't just grown on the court. It's becoming even more obvious off it. Nike is going all in right now, ramping up the rollout for Clark's signature shoe. At the exact same time, Angel Reese's Reebok sneakers are sitting on clearance shelves, marked down. That contrast isn't random. When Reese signed with Reebok, it came with major buzz. It was framed as a huge moment, a rising star landing a big-time deal. There was real anticipation, but once the shoes dropped, the momentum just wasn't there. No sellouts, no major demand, no sustained hype. Instead, they started appearing in discount sections, sitting unsold. For a signature shoe, that's a serious red flag. Now compare that to what's expected from Clark's Nike launch. Industry experts are predicting her shoes could sell out in minutes, not days, minutes. And that's not speculation. We've already seen it. Her Kobe Player Edition sneakers instantly doubled in resale value the moment they dropped. The demand is already there, and her official signature line hasn't even fully launched yet. That's the commercial gap between these two right now, and it's massive, and Reebok isn't ignoring it either. Reports suggest they've significantly pulled back, if not completely stopped marketing support for Reese's shoe. When a brand goes quiet that early into a signature deal, it tells you everything about how they're evaluating the results. The numbers just aren't there, and they're not willing to keep investing without a return. So what's driving this? Because major brands don't just look at followers or highlights. They have entire teams focused on brand safety, tracking public perception, analyzing behavior, and flagging anything that could hurt their image. And Reese's public actions, the subtle shots at Clark, the visible frustration over attention and recognition, the social media moments, those are exactly the kinds of things these teams monitor closely. And this didn't just start recently, it goes back to college. Time and time again, when Clark hits a milestone, Reese finds a way to shift the conversation, not to celebrate it, but to compete with it. And that same pattern has carried over into the WNBA. When Forbes released its list of the most powerful women in sports, Caitlin Clark came in at number 4, the highest ranked active athlete on the entire list. And instead of celebrating that moment, Angel Reese responded with vague posts online, hinting that others deserved recognition too. No focus on her own performance, no specifics, just indirect comments about credit and fairness. And every time something like that happens, you can bet there are brand teams quietly taking notes, reassessing risk, and asking questions. Now, here's where things really escalated. During the exact same stretch where Clark was in Puerto Rico breaking 14 records and walking away with tournament MVP, Reese reportedly came out suggesting she should be receiving an award as well. Not tied to a standout game, not backed by a stat line, just the idea that she deserved recognition. At the same time, her signature shoes are being discounted to clear inventory, while Reebok has gone quiet, while Nike is preparing a massive global rollout centered around Clark. Reese keeps finding ways to insert herself into the conversation. Look at the contrast. Clark's Kobe editions are reselling for double the original price. Reese's sneakers are being marked down just to move units. Clark just dominated an international tournament, set records, and took home MVP honors. And Reese's response? Saying she should be awarded too. Now fast forward to what's coming next. The 2026 season with the Indiana Fever is right around the corner, and Clark's momentum isn't slowing down anytime soon. If anything, it's accelerating. So let's lay it out clearly. 14 records in 1 week. FIBA Tournament MVP, named the most influential female athlete of 2025, Nike building an entire campaign around her, a record-setting Gatorade deal, signature lines with Wilson, a luxury partnership with Prada, featured on Sportico's cover, and on the other side, discounted shoes, a brand stepping back, and public frustration over recognition that hasn't been earned on the same level, and the season hasn't even started yet. Clark is heading back to Indiana with Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, and Sophie Cunningham, fresh off proving she can step into any system, anywhere in the world, and instantly take over. Put that kind of player at the center of a roster like that? Yeah, this is about to get very interesting. Now I'll leave it to you. Do you think Angel Reese deserves a spot on Team USA? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Click the next video on your screen, and I'll catch you there.